Sometimes two things may look very similar. But when you get into the details, they're very different.
Today, let's pit the Sennheiser PXC550 against the Sony WH-1000XM2.
And as usual, we're going to have 3 rounds: looks, usability, and sound quality. Hey, Rowan, you know how they say you should judge a book by its cover?
I don't think...
So yeah, I think the Sonys look cheap, plasticky, fat, really ugly.
Are you sad that your little eggs don't match up to these big boy headphones?
You crack me up.
It's kind of hitting me below the belt. Yeah, he's referring to how the Sony seem to have their headband crack. It's been the problem on the MDR1000X, the older one, and the newer ones as well. Disclaimer, we didn't experience this, so...
But real talk, both of these headphones are really comfortable to wear for long periods of time.
Hey Kevin, didn't you wear these headphones to the gym?
Yeah. That's an extreme example, but in general, they're not really meant for warm conditions.
Pretty much the same with the Sony. You get a bit sweaty around the ear when it's a bit warm. And it's been a bit warm recently, that's why we're now wearing sunglasses. Yes. And the color choice is abundant on the Sony. You have the black, you have the gold, and hey, what choices do you have, Kevin?
Well, you got this black and you got Schwarz. Yeah.
It's just a different language. It's the same color.
Yeah, it's the same color. One color. So, talking about the physical devices, both rely on touch controls for changing music and controlling volume. But they've made different choices about the buttons that they use. The Sony is minimal with a button to change the quality of noise cancelling, and Sennheiser lets you change the intensity of noise cancelling.
So the last time we did a comparison, Kevin, with the MDR1000Xs against the PXCs, the MDR came up short because of the absence of an app.
That's true.
I'm glad to say this has been rectified big time by Sony.
Yay. So
we're not going to highlight the general features of the app like EQ, FX modes, which you just kind of expect to have. But instead we're going to focus on the ones that really stand out and are useful.
Dude, Sony just came out with their app. The PXC's caption has been around for ages. They're going to win hands down.
Captune, really?
Yeah.
Is that even a name?
Yeah.
Anyway, what features does the Sennheiser Captune have?
Well, you can turn on an option called Call Enhancement if you use it a lot for calling. And as we've mentioned before, these are great for making phone calls.
I don't need any such features on my headphones because they're so bad I can't use them to make calls.
Yeah. And what you can also do is you can fine-tune the level of noise cancelling.
Well, you can do that on the Sony now. And you can choose to focus only on voice and have the rest of the sounds cancel out. And you can choose to turn off only wind noise. So there's a lot of options.
Ooh, wind noise. I wish I had that. Because I don't wear the PXCs anymore when I ride my bicycle. Because there's so much wind and it doesn't do a good job of cancelling it out. It's doable with music, but for phone calls, forget about it.
Yeah, and on top of that, you can also optimize noise cancelling for different sorts of faces. If you have glasses, if you have different hair.
Ooh, that does sound fancy. Does it also account for broken headbands?
Probably.
Alright, with the Sennheiser app, you can make preset sound profiles. So you can have one for the gym, one for work.
What is this, a Nokia phone with preset profiles? I don't have that.
And finally, you have Smart Pause. Which, by the way, since our last review, has improved, and it doesn't pause randomly anymore.
You call that smart? Ha! I have ambient aware. Just cup the right ear cup with my hand and boom, music paused, ambient sounds in. And I can pull up Google Assistant without taking out my phone, and I can listen to notifications and respond to them using my voice.
Yeah? Cool. But it also sounds like you're compensating for something you're lacking in the build quality department.
He has only one point. He has to keep repeating it.
Yeah, I got nothing to beat that. That's as smart as the PXCs get. Hey, but you know what Sony hasn't bothered fixing in their latest model?
Here it comes.
No, that's not what you think. I'm a good person. It's those annoying blinking LED disco lights.
True. And neither of these headphones have really improved the vocal feedback on the device they're connected to. When you're using multiple devices, the Sennheiser wins hands down because the audio handover between devices is seamless. You play on one, it pauses on the other. It's a chore to set this up on the Sony to begin with.
Yeah.
And I don't know why you would want to do that because you can only use media on one and phone calls on the other. So at the end of the day, when we talk about usability, Sony has not been lacking in the app department as it was with the MDR. However, just because of the multiple devices issue, we would call this a tie. So the sound quality on the Sony WH-1000XM2 has been vastly improved wirelessly, and the promise that they did make with the high quality audiophile ANC headphones is kind of fulfilled. And they continue to perform excellently when wired.
And the PXC550 do great wireless and wired. Many like the stock tuning, but for me, the highs get into sibilance territory, especially for voices and music with cymbals. Luckily, this can be adjusted to taste using the app.
The Sony sound signature is a little bit flatter out of the box, but some may say well balanced. It is still quite detailed and I like it, and it works for most kinds of music. With the addition of clear bass control, Sony does start pandering a little bit to the bass heads, but vocals and guitars stand out very well and the sound space is quite decent. It's a great set to listen to podcasts as well because the voices are quite natural. And since the sound quality is about par on both of these headphones, it would really boil down to a matter of which sound signature you prefer. We'll give this one a tie in general, but do listen to them yourselves because I personally really prefer the Sony over the Sennheiser. So what is the conclusion here? In our previous comparison with the MDR, we slightly prefer the Sennheiser because it had that app and could really tweak the sounds to your liking. That is no longer a differentiating factor. Both of these have apps. It is really quite close for both of us. I mean, there are a few factors you may find important like phone calls or multiple devices, wind noise cancelling, sound quality. So these are really things you need to decide, and the price will be a very big factor here.
So the prices do not differ much currently, but the prices do tend to swing a lot. So make sure to check out the latest prices in the links below. And do use them if you decide to snag a pair. Won't cost you anything extra and helps us make more free content like this. So, well done Sony. Now you just gotta work on that build quality and you would crack the headphones market. Smash it. Never mind. You've been awesome.
And we've been DHRME. Two colors like the black and the gold. What colors do you have, Sony?
Sony. Thanks for calling me Sony. Sennheiser. Oh, and you can fine-tune noise cancelling levels on this.
So can you. The prices currently don't differ that much, but they do tend to swing a lot. I think we should kind of summarize a conclusion here. I'm not sure what to do.
It's hard.
What happened? Sweating?